Hello and welcome to part 11 of Every Spirit in Smash Ultimate, where we talk about the spirits and their origins in chronological order. Today we're talking about the spirits who debuted in 1992, a very Kirby-themed year, but with a delectable spread of characters from many other prolific and forgotten series. Oh, how deliciously glorious. Alm and Celeste Young are the younger incarnations of the two main heroes of Fire Emblem Gaiden. While the duo's childhood wasn't elaborated on much in the original, as far as I can tell, the 3DS remake, Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia, expanded on it greatly with a new prequel chapter. Alm and Celeste were born on the continent of Valentia, west of Marth's home Arcania, and were heir to the thrones of the nations Rigel and Zovia. As part of an ancient prophecy, the duo were destined to liberate the country from the rule of the gods Mia and Duma. To ensure their safety, the two were put in the care of mice in Ram Village. However, following a small incident with Zovian soldiers led by Slade, Celeste is forced to leave, leaving Alm with a good luck charm and a promise that they'll meet again. In Smash Ultimate, Alm and Celeste Young are represented by a male and female villager, representing the two children. The stage you fight them on is Skyloft, referencing Ram Village, and the music that plays is Those Who Challenge Gods, from Fire Emblem Gaiden and Echoes. The conditions for the battle make it a timed battle, and make the enemy tend to avoid conflict, referencing their lack of combat experience at this time. This spirit can also be obtained through scanning either Alm or Celeste's amiibos, and after it's obtained, it can be equipped as a neutral-type primary spirit, and while it doesn't have an effect, it can be enhanced into Alm and Celeste. Alm and Celeste are the two main protagonists of Fire Emblem Gaiden and its remake Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia. 7 years after their separation, Alm has grown into a mighty sword fighter under Myson's tutelage. He soon learns of the death of the King of Zovia, and how Rigel plans to conquer the nation, leading him to join and lead the rebellion group Deliverance to fight the invading armies. Meanwhile, Celeste has also heard of the king's death, and decides to set out on her own quest to find the goddess Mia. The two meet up in Zovia Castle, only to part on bad terms after fighting over Alm's intention to fight the Rigel armies. After many battles, and learning they were the true heirs to the nation's thrones, they fought and defeated the god Duma, uniting the two nations into the Kingdom of Valentia, and later Kingdom of Valm. Following this, the duo have also shown up in Fire Emblem Awakening, Engage, and Heroes. Alm and Celeste do not have a spirit battle. Instead, they are obtained through enhancing the Alm and Celeste Young spirit, as I said earlier. After doing so, they can be equipped as a neutral-type primary spirit, with their effect being back shield equipped. Which I like to think is a very coy and moderately amusing decision to imply that both of them always have their backs. WaddDs are amongst the most common of Dreamland's inhabitants in the Kirby series. Debuting in the very first game, WaddDs are to Kirby what Goombas are to Mario. They are the most simple enemies, only able to walk and jump to tackle into Kirby directly, and sometimes kill themselves in the process. They are sometimes found drifting from parasols, but this does little to make them any more dangerous. Since their debut, WaddDs have gone on to appear in every single Kirby game, most commonly as enemies, but also as NPCs and even playable characters. Many also ally themselves with Dedede, though numerous others seem to act independently, and some notable WaddDs include Bandana D, Sailor D, and the unnamed D from Kirby 64. In Smash Ultimate, WaddD is represented by 4 orange Kirbys, matching D's color and tendency to attack in groups. The stage you fight them on is Dreamland GB, and the music that plays is Green Greens, both from Kirby's Dream Land. This spirit can also be obtained through scanning the WaddD amiibo, and after being obtained, it can be equipped as a neutral-type primary spirit, referencing their roles as both allies and enemies, and while they don't have an effect, they can be enhanced into Bandana WaddD from Kirby Superstar. Bronto Burt is an odd pink flying creature that appears in over 30 different Kirby games. Despite this history, their behavior has remained largely unchanged. They fly at Kirby in an attempt to hit him. Some fly in a pattern, some chase Kirby directly, and none of them provide any abilities directly. There are also some uncommon color variants, and none of them seem to be particularly loyal to Dedede specifically. Since their debut, they've appeared in nearly every Kirby game, minus the Star Stacker and Kirby Clash games. They also appear as enemies in Smash 3DS's Smash Run, and in Brawl, their trophy describes them as birds, though this has never been corroborated in any of the Kirby games. In Smash Ultimate, Bronto Burt is represented by 4 pink pits, small pink winged fighters. The stage you fight them on is Dreamland, and the music that plays is Green Greens, both from their debut game, Kirby's Dream Land. The conditions make the enemy favor side specials in the air, referencing their flying tackles. After being defeated, Bronto Burt can be equipped as a support-type spirit, with its effect being floaty jumps, referencing their flying abilities. Poppy Brothers Jr. are small jester-like enemies who appear throughout the Kirby series. They debut in the original Dreamland with their bigger counterparts, the Poppy Brothers Sr. Unlike the bomb-toting Big Bros, the Little Bros did not chuck bombs, choosing to hop around and balance on fruits or grizzos. He gained his Big Bros bomb-chucking ability in Kirby Superstar, along with the ability to toss boomerang-like cutter blades. Since then, the bombs have been their main mode of attack in many future games, from Kirby 64 to Forgotten Land, and lots more in between, effectively becoming the main mascot of Kirby's bomb ability. In Smash Ultimate, Poppy Brothers Jr. is represented by 2 cyan young Links, referencing the bros' size, colors, hat, and being bros. The stage you fight them on is Yoshi's Island, in reference to Green Greens, and the music that plays is Green Greens from Smash 4, from Kirby's Dream Land. The rules for the battle make Bob-omb items spawn, referencing their bombs, and the conditions will make the enemies favor down specials in the air and give those down specials increased power, again both referencing their jumping and bombs. After being defeated, they can be equipped as a grab-type primary spirit, since they grab and throw bombs. The Warp Star is Kirby's main mode of transportation in the Kirby franchise. Debuting in the Game Boy original, Warp Stars appear in a number of different levels to take Kirby to new portions of the level. These instances are purely automatic, acting as cool visual set pieces more than anything. Since their debut, they've appeared in many more Kirby games, still offering Kirby various types of transport. Some still act as in-level transports, but other games like Superstar and Star Allies allow you to freely fly around for map traversal. They also appear as a starting vehicle in Kirby Air Ride, and Kirby Triple Deluxe introduces the 3D Warp Star for traversal between background and foreground. There's also the Friend Star from Kirby Star Allies, which looks very similar, but it's unknown if this is a true Warp Star variant. In Smash Ultimate, the Warp Star does not have a spirit battle. Instead, you must purchase it from Funky Shack, alongside other vehicle-based spirits. After being bought, it can be equipped as a support-type spirit, since it's Kirby's main mode of transport, and its effect is Super Launch Star equipped, starting you off with an item that is a star that sends you flying, much like the Warp Star. Wispy Woods is a large sentient tree who serves as a common boss fight in the Kirby series. Wispy debuted as the first major boss fight in Kirby's Dream Land, following the mini-boss Poppy Bros Sr. As a tree, Wispy can't move, and he attacks by dropping apples and shooting air bullets. Kirby can inhale the apples and spit them back out to fight Wispy, who has no choice but to sit there and take it since he's rooted to the floor. Land 6 hits and he'll be reduced to tears, dropping the first of the sparkling stars. Since his debut, Wispy has become one of the most recurring bosses in the franchise. While he himself is a boss in numerous games, including Kirby 64, Epic Yarn, and Pinball Land, many more bosses have been introduced with fights very similar to Wispy, including Twin Woods, Flowery Woods, Clanky Woods, and Tropic Woods. In Smash Ultimate, Wispy Spirit has you fight against 5 red Kirbys, referencing Wispy's apples. The stage you fight him on is Green Greens, which features Wispy in the background, and the music is the boss theme medley from the Kirby series, referencing Wispy being a boss. The rules for the battle make heavy wind occur, referencing Wispy's air bullets. After being defeated, he can be equipped as a shield-type primary spirit, with his effect being fire weakness, referencing that not only trees are flammable, but might also reference his Star Allies fight, where using fire against them could roast him for an even easier win. Gordos are recurring obstacle enemies seen throughout the Kirby series. Debuting in Dreamland 1, Gordos are blackish-blue spiky balls that are 100% invulnerable. Try to suck them all you want and they simply will not budge, and no attack will so much as scratch them. Their spikes also make them deadly to touch, so Kirby will need to maneuver around them if he wants to continue his quest. Since their debut, Gordos have appeared in over 30 Kirby games, providing hazards of various kinds. Some of them move, some bounce, some are tossed about by bosses, and some can be bypassed with an ability like burning or wheel. Triple Deluxe also introduced the Ghost Gordo for the Haunted Mansion levels, and Forgotten Land introduced Gordo Bars, longer Gordos that are therefore harder to dodge. In Smash Ultimate, Gordo is represented by 3 clear deities, who can toss Gordos around, in order to make it look as though you're fighting just the Gordos. The stage you fight them on is Green Greens, and the music that plays is Castle Lololo, which was where Gordos debuted in Kirby's Dream Land. The conditions for the battle make the enemy's side special have increased power, and make the enemy favor side specials, which for Dedede makes him toss very powerful Gordos. After being defeated, Gordo can be equipped as a shield-type primary spirit since they are completely invincible. WaddDs is a one-eyed relative of the WaddDs that debuted in the Kirby series. Their behavior is very similar to the Ds in that they can walk and jump or float around on parasols. However, their eye can fire a beam of energy, allowing them to actually attack Kirby if he's not careful. They're also heavily associated with Kracko, who can spawn them as minions during his fight. Since then, they've appeared many more times in the series, providing Kirby with a beam ability if swallowed. A WaddD also serves as a boss in Kirby 64, and in the anime, a single WaddD appears as captain of Dedede's WaddD entourage. In Smash Ultimate, WaddD is represented by 3 red Kirbys, referencing Doo's color and body shape. The stage you fight him on is Dreamland, and the music that plays is Butter Building from Kirby's Adventure. The rules for the battle will make a Zap Floor spawn, referencing the electrical beam attack, and the conditions will make the enemy start the battle with a Super Scope, referencing Doo's energy beams. After being defeated, they can be equipped as an attack-type primary spirit, likely since they are enemies. Scarfies are cute little monsters introduced in Kirby's Dreamland. Scarfies are normally found floating around Dreamland and don't try to attack Kirby on sight. They usually just get in his way by floating idly in his path, and if approached carelessly, they get mad, let's say. Since their debut, Scarfies have made numerous appearances in the franchise as one of Kirby's most iconic foes. They also have never been inhalable, but they do provide the crash ability if scanned with Copy in Kirby Superstar. In Smash Ultimate, the Scarfy is represented by a yellow Kirby and 3 red Kirbys, referencing Scarfy and his angrier counterpart. The stage you fight him on is Dreamland, and the music that plays is Green Greens from Melee. After being defeated, Scarfy can be equipped as a shield-type primary spirit since he can't be inhaled, and while he doesn't have an effect, he can be enhanced into Angry Scarfy. Which brings us to... Angry Scarfies are cycloptic monsters and the true form of Kirby's Scarfies. If Kirby approaches a Scarfy or tries to suck them up, they'll reveal their true colors and chase after Kirby. Not only do they appear frightening, but they'll explode if they chase Kirby long enough, hence why Copy would make them spit out Crash. Like their kinder counterparts, they appear in many games in the series in the same capacity, with some chasing after keys, much like a Phanto, and others following Kirby even before they get angry. In Smash Ultimate, the Angry Scarfy Spirit does not have a battle, instead you obtain it through enhancing the Scarfy Spirit. After doing so, it can still be equipped as a shield-type primary spirit, with their new effect being unflinching charged smashes, likely referencing their resiliency. Kracko is a cycloptic storm cloud and recurring boss fight in the Kirby series. Debuting in Kirby's Dream Land 3, Kracko was the 4th boss faced and the last one before Mount Dedede. As a storm cloud, Kracko could fly around and attack with lightning beams, rainstorms, and just flying and tackling into Kirby. He could also drop WaddDs as henchmen and bombs in EX mode. Like Wispy, Kracko has made many appearances in future Kirby games as one of the most recurring bosses in the franchise. Also like Wispy, there are various other Kracko variants and related creatures, such as Kracko Jr., Little Kracko, Mecha Kracko, and Venom Kracko. In Smash Ultimate, Kracko is represented by a Grey Dedede and 2 Pikachus, referencing Kracko's large cloudy body and lightning attacks. The stage you fight him on is Sky World, a stage covered in clouds, and the music that plays is the boss theme medley from Kirby series, since he's a recurring boss. After being defeated, he can be equipped as a grab-type primary spirit, with his effect being Electric Attack Up, referencing his lightning moves. The Commander is the Wireframe Academy coach who guides the player in X. X was a Japanese-exclusive Game Boy game that served as a spiritual predecessor to Star Fox, being programmed by much of the same staff. In this game, the player takes control of the space tank Vixiv, and must travel across numerous planets connected by tunnels to fight against aliens who, of course, seek to conquer Earth, because that's all aliens ever do, really. The Commander's role was as tutorial giver. He provides 12 lessons teaching you all the ins and outs of spaceflight and combat. He might also appear in the DSiWare sequel Escape, but given how little that game's been properly documented, I do not really know. In Smash Ultimate, Commander is represented by a wireframe Little Mac, referencing the Commander's wireframe appearance. The stage you find him on is Lilac Cruise, referencing his Space Base series made by Argonaut, and the music that plays is Tunnel Scene from X. The rules for the battle make assist trophy enemies spawn, specifically Andross, a giant floating face that looks vaguely wireframe-ish. After being defeated, he can be equipped as a support-type spirit, since he runs tutorial operations, and his effect is Staff Equip, likely referencing X's shooting gameplay. Flies in Hand are the main enemies and the player character of Mario's iconic Nat Attack minigame. This game debuted in Mario Paint, the multi-purpose art utility game for SNES that made use of the mouse peripheral. Using this mouse, players must move the hand and swat any insects that appear, with 100 deaths required to beat each stage. When 3 stages are beaten, the leader of the flies, King Watinga, appears, who takes 20 swats before being blown up. Since then, the minigame has made a few return cameos in games like Mario Maker and WarioWare. An unused version was also found in a prototype build of Mario Artist Paint Studio, with the hand there being applied to be Mario's. In Smash Ultimate, the flies in hand are represented by a giant white Donkey Kong and 4 tiny dark pits, referencing the giant white hand and an army of small flies. The stage you fight them on is Living Room, reflecting the real-life sizes of flies and hands, and the music that plays is the Mario Paint medley. The rules for the battle make assist trophy enemies spawn, specifically the flies in hand, and make food items spawn, possibly referencing flies liking to land on people's food. The conditions require you to survive until the timer runs out, referencing Nat Attack's time limit. This spirit can also be obtained through purchasing it from Beetle's Tent, alongside other spirits based on animals and living creatures. After being obtained, it can be equipped as a support-type spirit, since it's an assist trophy in Smash, and its effect is battering items up, referencing the hand's Fly Swatter. Prince Richard is the arch-rival of the Prince of Sable from Kaeru no Tame ni Kane wa Naru. In this Japan-exclusive Game Boy adventure, Richard is the Prince of the Custard Kingdom, and has a long-standing rivalry against the Prince of the neighboring Sable Kingdom. The two are matched in looks, wit, and intelligence, but Richard's fencing skills are second to none. The duo learn of the evil King Delarin, who has conquered the kingdom of Milefuile and kidnapped the fair princess Tiramisu. Thus, the two set out to see who can save the princess first, though Richard's head start certainly helps his case. In Smash Ultimate, Prince Richard is represented by a Cyan Young Link, a light blue sword fighter. The stage you fight him on is Dreamland GB, referencing his Game Boy origins, and the music is Castle Lololo, since Richard is a prince. The rules for the battle give the enemy temporary invincibility, and make assist trophy enemies spawn, specifically the Sable Prince, his rival. The conditions will make the enemy unleash powerful critical hits at random, referencing Richard's fencing skills likely. After being defeated, he can be equipped as a neutral-type primary spirit, likely in reference to his friendly rivalry with the Sable Prince. The Prince of Sable is a young, naive prince that the player controls in Kaeru no Tame ni Kane wa Naru. Due to his upbringing and the wealth of the Sable Kingdom, this prince tends to try and solve his problems by tossing his endless piles of cash at them. Despite this, he's a nice guy overall, and sets out on a quest to save Princess Tiramisu from the evil Delarin, though her beauty and his rivalry with Richard certainly helps matters. In the end, Sable is the one who gets to land the finishing blow on Delarin, a giant snake who planned on eating all the frogs in the kingdom, and won the hand of the princess in marriage, no less. Prince of Sable does not have a spirit battle. Instead, you can only obtain him through enhancing the Frog and Snake Spirit. After doing so, he can be equipped as a Shield-type primary spirit, since he tries to protect the kingdom, and his effect is Transformation Duration Up, referencing how he can become a frog or snake. Speaking of... The Frog and Snake are two transformations the princes can take on in Kaeru no blah 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 blah. During their quest, the princes stumble upon the witch Mandola, who tricks them into drinking a potion that causes them to become frogs on contact with cold water. It's not all bad though. As a frog, the Prince of Sable can jump higher, swim, and even communicate with other frogs seen throughout the kingdom. After gaining the antidote, he gains the ability to go from human to frog at will, and can also gain the ability to become a snake upon eating snake eggs, enabling him to squeeze through tight gaps and sneak past hostile snakes instead of having to fight. Which is good, because both forms are not particularly good at combat. In Smash Ultimate, the Frog and Snake are represented by Greninja and Kaeru, a green frog and a blue reptile. The stage you fight them on is Dreamland GB, referencing their Game Boy roots, and the music that plays is Castle Lololo, since the Prince of Sable is royalty. The rules for the battle make assist trophy enemies spawn, specifically the Sable Prince, who can become the Frog and Snake. This spirit can also be obtained through summoning, using the cores of Prince Peasley, Winky, and Ratley. These represent the Prince of Sable's three forms: a prince, a frog, and a snake. After being obtained, the Frog and Snake can be equipped as a Shield-type primary spirit, since the Prince protects his kingdom, and while they don't have an effect, they can be enhanced into the Prince of Sable, as stated earlier. Rio Sakazaki is the main protagonist of SNK's Art of Fighting series. Rio is the son of Takuma Sakazaki, and as the elder son, was trained in the ways of the family's Kyokugenryu karate fighting style. After his mother's death, his dad left, leaving him to care for his sister Yuri, complicated by Mr. Big, a local crime boss kidnapping her. The first Art of Fighting tells the tale of Kyo's heroic rescue of Yuri, as well as their reunion with their father, under the alias of Mr. Karate. In the sequel, the trio joined the first King of Fighters tournament, doing battle with Geese, but in Art of Fighting 3, his role was reduced to minor appearance in Robert's ending. He and his family also make up the Art of Fighting team in the King of Fighters series. In Smash Ultimate, Rio is represented by a Mii Brawler, wearing either an Isaac wig and orange jumpsuit or the DLC Ryu outfit, both of which were meant to reference Rio's appearance. The Mii Brawler's moveset also references Ryo's moves, specifically the Zanretsu Ken with the flashing Mach Punch, Ryuko Ranbu via Onslaught, Koho with Thrust Uppercut, and his ability to jump kick off of walls with Feint Jump. The stage you fight him on is Suzaku Castle, referencing Ryu being a dojo master, and the music that plays is Art of Fight from Art of Fighting. The rules for the battle will decrease your jump power, as Art of Fighting is a grounded fighting game, and the conditions will make it a stamina battle, referencing Art of Fighter's health bars, and make the enemy charge up a powerful final smash, with Mii Brawler's Omega Blitz referencing Ryo's Ryuko Ranbu, his super special move. After being defeated, Ryu can be equipped as a grab-type primary spirit, with his effect being Fist Attack Up, referencing Ryo being a martial artist. The Great Saber Cub is one of the many monsters seen in the Dragon Quest series. The Saber Cub debuted in Dragon Quest V as early game enemies with relatively weak stats, but they can grow into the more fierce Great Saber Cat. On top of that, one specific Saber Cub is saved by the hero and bonds to him, being named Saber, joining his party as the first recruitable monster. Useful in helping taking down enemies at no cost to the other members' resources. Many years later, the hero and Saber were reunited, and he rejoins on their adventure. And beyond this, Saber Cubs return to Dragon Quest XI and appear in several spin-offs, including Dragon Quest Monsters and Builders. In Smash Ultimate, the Great Saber Cub is represented by Pichu and Giant Pikachu, representing Saber Cub and Saber Cat. The stage you fight them on is Gar Plain, referencing the grassy plain Sabrecubs inhabit, and the music is Marching Through the Fields, a theme that plays when riding the Sabrecats. The rules will make soccer ball items spawn, since cats like playing with balls, and the conditions will require you to defeat the main fighter to win, make it a stamina battle, and make the enemy's shield often. These reference not only the Sabrecat protecting their young, but also the Dragon Quest series' HP system. After being defeated, the Great Saber Cub can be equipped as an attack-type primary spirit, since they're hostile monsters, and while they don't have an effect, they can be enhanced into the Great Saber Cat. Great Saber Cat is a monster from the Dragon Quest series, and amongst the most popular beasts in the series. Debuting in Dragon Quest V alongside its younger counterpart, Saber Cats obviously have much stronger stats than their children, capable of bites and claw swipes. They also stand out as being easily tameable in games that let you lead monsters. Not only is there Saber, but various other games let heroes summon or tame Saber Cats before riding them as a mode of transport. Dragon Quest VIII introduced the Bomren's Bell, which can summon a Saber Cat to transport the player around the world map. And they've also appeared in many more spin-off games, including Monsters and Heroes. In Smash Ultimate, the Great Saber Cat does not have a spirit battle. Instead, you obtain it through enhancing the Great Saber Cub. After doing so, it can be equipped as an attack-type primary spirit, like the Saber Cub, and its effect is Physical Attack Up, referencing their bites and claw swipes. ST Falcon is a large mech piloted by the main character of Battle Clash. Battle Clash is a SNES shooting game that made use of its light gun peripheral, the Super Scope. This game is set in a distant, chaotic future where large mechs called standing tanks, or STs, fight in a battle game. ST Falcon is the main mech that players control, operated by Mike Anderson, who uses it to find the villain Anubis and get revenge for the murder of Mike's father. The Falcon is the only playable vehicle in the main story campaign, and it attacks enemies with rapid-fire shots from its Super Scope-like gun, as well as slower, stronger bomb weapons. In Smash Ultimate, the ST Falcon is represented by Blue Samus, another blue combat mech. The stage you fight him on is Port Town Aero Dive, likely referencing the New York City stage in Battle Clash, and music that plays as Marionation Gear, from another mech battle game, Chozoju Mecha MG. The rules for the battle make Super Scope items spawn, and the conditions will make the enemy start the battle with a Super Scope, both of which representing Battle Clash being a Super Scope game, and how the ST Falcon's main weapon was based on the Super Scope itself. This stage can also be obtained through purchasing it from Sheldon's Place, alongside various other mechanical, mech-based spirits. After being obtained, it can be equipped as an attack-type primary spirit, likely referencing its attack capabilities. Miles Prower, better known as Tails, is Sonic's sidekick and lifelong best friend from the Sonic the Hedgehog series. Tails made his first appearance in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. He grew up on West Side Island and was constantly bullied for having been born with two tails. However, he ran into Sonic while he was searching for Eggman, and learned that he could use his tails to both fly and keep up with Sonic by twirling them like a propeller. Impressed by the little fox, Sonic let him join on the adventure, and even lent him his personal plane, the Tornado, which he cared for and would eventually build various new models of. Since his debut, Tails has been an invaluable ally to Sonic, appearing in nearly every other Sonic game, from playable appearances to various support roles. In Smash Ultimate, Tails' spirit is represented by a yellow fox, a fellow yellow fox. The stage you fight him on is Windy Hill Zone from the Sonic series, and the music that plays is Emerald Hill Zone from his debut game. The rules will make assist trophy enemies spawn, specifically Knuckles, another member of Team Sonic, and reduce gravity, referencing Tails' flight capabilities. The conditions will make the enemy start the battle with both an enhanced ray gun and a rocket belt, again referencing Tails' flight as well as his various gadgets. This spirit can also be obtained through summoning, using the cores of Andy, Vulpix, and a support core. Andy is a young mechanic, and Vulpix is a multi-tailed fox creature. After being defeated, Tails can be equipped as a support spirit, since he's an ally to Sonic, and his effect is Up Special Up, referencing Tails' flight once again. Super Sonic is one of Sonic's most iconic transformations in the Sonic the Hedgehog series. Super Sonic was first introduced in Sonic 2 as a reward for collecting the 7 Chaos Emeralds. These mystical gemstones have been said to be able to turn thoughts into power, and with all 7 obtained, their wielder would have unlimited power. With them, Sonic can go super, becoming even faster, invulnerable, and even gaining flight. However, the form requires ring energy to maintain, and if his ring count reaches 0, the transformation ends. Beginning in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, getting the Emeralds became required to use Super Sonic for the true final boss, and ever since, the Emeralds and Super Sonic have appeared dozens of times, battling against all manner of monstrous machines and grotesque gods. There's also various other super and super-adjacent forms held by other characters, including Shadow, Silver, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and Trip. In Smash Ultimate, Super Sonic is represented by a Gold Sonic, referencing Super Sonic's gold color. The stage you fight him on is Windy Hill Zone, and the music that plays is Live and Learn, referencing Super Sonic and Super Shadow's fight with the final hazard. The rules for the battle will give the enemy a sudden final smash, referencing how Sonic goes super for his final smash. After being defeated, Super Sonic can be equipped as a Grab-type primary spirit, referencing how you must collect the Chaos Emeralds to obtain him, and his effect is Speed Up, referencing Super Sonic's even greater speed. Gravity Man, or Dr. Wily number 033, is one of the 8 Robot Masters Mega Man fought in Mega Man 5. While Rock was out visiting Dr. Cossack, Proto Man appeared and kidnapped Dr. Light, forcing Mega, with Cossack's help, to fight against an army of droids that Proto Man was commanding. Gravity Man is one of them, having been stationed at a Gravity Research Institute, which did much to feed his interest in gravity research. He fights with the Gravity Hold, a weapon that can flip gravity to disorient Mega before firing at him. Luckily, his weakness, Star Crash, can deflect his shots. After this, he's made only a few further appearances, such as some of the animated spin-offs and Mega Man and Bass. In Smash Ultimate, Gravity Man is represented by a pink Dark Samus, a floaty fighter with armor. The stage you fight him on is Mario Galaxy, referencing Gravity Man's stage, and the music is Gravity Man's stage. The rules for the battle will flip between high gravity and low gravity, referencing Gravity Man's gravity-altering powers. The conditions for the battle will make it a stamina battle, referencing Mega Man's HP system. After being defeated, Gravity Man cannot be equipped, but instead will unlock the Dojo Gravity style, allowing you to teach spirits in his gravity style. Napalm Man, or Dr. Wily number 039, is another Robot Master fought in Mega Man 5. Napalm Man was stationed with a secret weapons facility, and spent much of his time searching for weaponry as strong or stronger than his own. As a weapon enthusiast, and a robot, he's equipped with an arsenal of weapons all over his body, including his main weapon, the Napalm Bomb, a low-bouncing bomb that can damage low-hanging enemies. He also has various other missiles on his head and torso, and treads with a jet engine that can be used for super fast movement. Following his debut, Napalm has made several further appearances, including Mega Man and Bass, Mega Man 4, and Rockman Strategy. In Smash Ultimate, Napalm Man is represented by 3 red snakes, in reference to Napalm's explosive arsenal. The stage you fight them on is Wily Castle, and the music that plays is Napalm Man's stage. The conditions for the battle make the enemy's explosion and fire attacks have increased power, make it a stamina battle, and make the enemy favor neutral specials. The stamina battle is in reference to Mega Man's HP system, and the other 2 are in reference to the Napalm Bomb. This spirit can also be obtained through purchasing it from Sheldon's shop, alongside numerous other mech spirits. After doing so, he can be equipped as an attack-type primary spirit, likely referencing his enthusiasm with weapons and bombs. Beat is a friendly bird bot and one of Mega Man's support drones in the Mega Man series. Beat was created by Dr. Cossack, with Mega going to his lab to recruit him. It was at this time that Proto Man kidnapped Light, and Beat would join Mega on his adventure to save him. However, he was not able to track him like Rush was, instead requiring Mega to collect 8 plates to properly track and assist him. If Rock did so, he would be able to help out during Proto Man's castle, charging at enemies in a straight line, and he was even the weakness of the final boss. Beat has since appeared in all future classic Mega Man games, no longer requiring plates to track Mega. In Mega Man 6, he acted largely the same, and in Mega Man 8, he helped shoot enemies while using Rush Jet. Finally, the rest of the classic games use Beat to help protect Rock from bottomless pits. In Smash Ultimate, Beat is represented by Falco and Mega Man, a bird and his boy. The stage you fight him on is Wily Castle, and the music that plays is Mega Man 4 medley. The rules for the battle make heavy wind occur, referencing Beat's flight, and the conditions make the enemy favor grabs and throws, likely referencing Beat protecting Mega Man from pits. This spirit can also be obtained through purchasing it from Timmy and Tommy, alongside various other item-based spirits. After being obtained, Beat can be equipped as a support-type spirit, since he supports Mega Man on his adventures, and his effect is Air Attack Up, again referencing his flight-based attacks. Darkman 4 is the fourth and strongest robot in Wily's Darkman line. Upon confronting Proto Man in his castle, Rock learns that he was, in fact, Darkman 4, who had been impersonating Proto Man on Wily's behalf as revenge for his betrayal in Mega Man 4. As the strongest of the four, Darkman 4 has the most complex attack pattern. He holds powers from his three comrades, namely the fast shots of Darkman 1, the electromagnetic barrier of Darkman 2, and the high jumps from Darkman 3. Luckily, he's weak to Beat's attack, and upon being scrapped, Wily appears and reveals that Light is being held in his lab, goading Mega Man into heading there under the misguided assumption he's going to win. Spoiler alert, he does not. In Smash Ultimate, Darkman 4 is represented by a red Mega Man and 3 brown Samuses, referencing the 4 Darkmen. The stage you fight him on is Wily Castle, and the music that plays is Darkman Stage. The conditions for the battle make it a stamina battle, referencing Mega Man's HP system, and each of the 3 Samus minions are tweaked to reference the 3 Darkmen. The first Samus minion has a Super Scope, referencing Darkman 3, the second has Impact Run, referencing Darkman 1, and the last has a Franklin Badge, referencing Darkman 2. After being defeated, Darkman 4 can be equipped as a support-type spirit, with its effect being Rage Blaster equipped, referencing Darkman's Buster Shot. Kim Kap-won is a South Korean Taekwondo master that first appeared in Fatal Fury 2. As the reigning world champion of Taekwondo, he was invited by Wolfgang Krozer to a new King of Fighter tourney, so he could fight against strong challengers. During this, he met the lone wolf Terry Bogard, conceding that he was the superior fighter. He offers to help Terry however he needs though, becoming a good friend and friendly rival to him. He would return in real bout Fatal Fury, but in Mark of the Wolves he would retire, choosing to instead train new fighters, including his children, Jae-hoon and Dong-hwan. He's also appeared in King of Fighters, leading the Korean team in an attempt to rehabilitate the criminals Chang and Choi. In Smash Ultimate, Kim is represented by Ken, Tiny Ridley, and Giant Dedede, referencing his King of Fighters team, Kim, Choi, and Chang. The stage you fight him on is King of Fighters Stadium, and the music that plays is Let's Go to Seoul, referencing Kim's home stage from Fatal Fury 2. The rules of the battle will decrease your jump power, referencing Fatal Fury being a grounded fighting game, and the conditions will make the enemy's kicks and knee strikes have increased power, referencing Kim's Taekwondo fighting style, and make reinforcements appear after the enemy is KO'd, referencing the 3-man team system of the King of Fighters games. After being defeated, Kim can be equipped as a support-type spirit, with his effect being Foot Attack Up, in reference to Kim's kicking moves. And that is all the spirits from 1992. Tune in next time, where we'll be talking all about the spirits from 1993, the debut year of Star Fox, and a lot of other games too, actually. Oh boy, look at all that.